Hello guys, today we are going to discuss about class 9 mathematics chapter number 1. The name of the chapter is number system. So in this chapter, firstly we are going to discuss about natural number. Secondly, we are going to discuss about whole number. Thirdly, we are going to discuss about integers. Then rational number, irrational number and then real number and so on. So in the first case, we got natural number. So what does it mean by natural number? If it talks about natural number, it is a process of counting number. But in natural number, if we start counting from 1, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then it goes on like this and it will end at infinity. So the process of counting soft number, which we start from 1 and end at infinity, are known to be natural number. So this is the simplest definitions of natural number. So example are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and goes on like this. So this is the definitions of natural number. And then we have to move it to the next point, that is whole number. So what is whole number? Whole number are the number that will start counting from 0 and goes up to infinity. So in case of whole number, if we start counting from 0 or the number which includes 0 as the first count number, as the first counting point. So this kind of numbers, this kind of counting process or this kind of number that we start counting from 0 are known to be whole number. So example of whole number are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and so on. It goes on like this and it will end at infinity. So this is known as whole number. Then in the next point, that is third point, we are going to move it in integers. So what is the meaning of integers? That we have to learn it from this point. So if it talks about integers, integers are the collections of positive numbers, negative numbers and 0. So that means combinations or collections of all these three, that is positive numbers, negative numbers and 0. So if we combine all these things in a one places, that is same as like this, then this kind of combinations or collections of number are known to be integers. Okay, so in integers it will include negative as well as positive as well as 0. So if you find any kind of number like this, which is the combinations of negative as well as positive, including 0, then we name as integers. So this is the simplest form of definitions of integers. Then in the next point we are going to move it in rational number. In case of rational number, what is the definitions of this? Number which can be expressed in the form of p by q, where q does not equal to 0, p and q are integers. So rational number means number that we can express in the form of p by q. So we have to put in some values here as well as we have to put some values here, provided the numerator as well as the denominator should be some numbers or some values. It will have some values, provided q does not be needed to be 0 and p and q are integers. So in case if a number can be expressed in this form, that is p by q, like this, then we name it that number as rational number. So what are the examples of rational number? Example of rational number are 1 by 2, 1 by 5, 3 by 4, and so on like this. So this is the simplest form of definitions of rational number. So any number that we can express in the form of p by q, where q does not equal to 0. That means the denominator should not be equal to 0. And these two, p and q, should be an integers. So if this condition is satisfied by the numbers, then that numbers is known as rational number. So this is the best way of understanding rational number. Then we have to move it to the next point, that is irrational number. So in irrational number, it is just an opposite form of rational number. So in irrational number that we cannot express in the form of p by q, where p and q are integers and q does not equal to 0. So this kind of numbers is known as irrational number. In case of irrational number, we have to put some values here as well as here. All the processes are same, but the thing that differentiate between this rational number and irrational number is that we cannot express in the form of p by q. So that is the difference. Here we can express in p by q, but here we cannot express in the form of p by q. So that is the differentiation between rational number and irrational number. But the two, this is the numerator as well as the denominator should be some values, but it will be like in case of irrational number, it should be root 2, root 3, and root 5. So any number which cannot be expressed in the form of p by q. Unlike this, here we can express in the form of p by q. So such kind of numbers which cannot be expressed in the form of p by q are known to be irrational number. So example of this irrational number are like root 2, root 3, root 5, pi, and so on like this. Here I don't write or I don't mention some numbers like e values, that is, and many more. So like this also included in this, but I mention only this root 2, root 3, root 5, pi. So all these are the example of irrational number. So this is the best way of understanding irrational number. So in simple term, we can say that number that cannot be expressed in the form of p by q. So like all these number cannot be expressed in the form of p by q. So simply these number are known as irrational number. Then we are going to move it in the next point, that is in real number. So what is real number? Real number are the collections of rational number and irrational number together. They make up what we call real number. So in real number means when we collect all rational number as well as irrational number together, then they made up or they give up or they brought up to what do we call it, real number. So simply real number means combinations of or collections of all rational number that we already discussed in here, rational number and irrational number. So if you combine all of this in here, then that number, the number that we combine are known as real number. So example of real number are, firstly, we name it, we give it 3, 0, 1.5, 3 by 2, root 5, and so on like this. So these are all the example of real number. Apart from this, there are lots of example of real number, but we are wrote up to this, and it goes on like this, and many more. And one point that will be noted, or that is much important, that is more important. So here it is written that if we are given with two rational number, suppose if we are given with 1 and 2 as an irrational number, and then in between these two irrational number there are so many infinite number of rational number are there. So here it is a kind of a hint, or it is a kind of a way to understand how many rational number are there in between two given rational number. So if there's a question like this, then in between two given rational number there are so many, or there are infinitely many rational number between the two given rational number. Then these are all about the definitions of rational number, irrational number, real numbers, and all these integers, whole numbers, and natural number. So now we are going to move it to some point or some numeracy based on these definitions. So for that, firstly we have to learn it, or we have to understand it, all these things, in order to solve some problem related with this. Okay, now we are going to solve it, some problem. Okay, now firstly, as we have already seen in this point here, in point to be noted, we have seen that there are infinitely many rational number between any two given rational number. So same as it is almost same with this. The way how the process is going, it is same. So we have to prove it same. We have to prove it the water which is almost similar with this one. Now we have to find a rational number between 1 and 2. So in order to find a rational number between 1 and 2, how should we do? 1 and 2. So here it is, 1 is rational number and 2 is also rational number. Why? Suppose in order to be a rational number, the given number should satisfy this condition, and q, which is denominator, should not be equal to 0. So let us assume that this number is rational number. So let us prove that this number satisfy this condition. So first of all, let us put p value as 1. So if the numerator is 1, we do not need to care about the denominator. Even if here it is 0, or even if here there's some numbers, then we can easily say that under this, or in the denominator, it is 1. So this is the thing that we done from earlier classes or lower classes. So here it is true. So same as this, we have to name it p as equal to 2. And then under this, there is some denominator. So under this, if there is no number mentioned here, then we can easily assume, or we can easily say that under this is 1. So let us satisfy this condition, p by q. So what is the value of p? 2. And what is the value of q? It is 1. So we prove it that this number satisfy this condition so easily. We know that these two are rational. So as we already know in this point, that between two given rational number there are infinitely many rational numbers. So we have to prove that. But here what it says, we have to prove it 5 rational number between 1 and 2. So I have to do it the other one first. So I have to prove it 5 rational number. So I have to prove it 5 rational number between 1 and 2. So in order to prove this, we have to do it like this. Firstly, we have to see here how much it is given. It is 5. We have to prove it 5 rational number. In order to get some rational number between 1 and 2, so we have to do it. We have to see this one. So how much it is? It is 5. So if it is 5, we have to add it one more. So then if we add 1, use 1 and 5, how much will it give you? It will give you 6. So you have to multiply it 6 with the numerator. So what will it be? 6 1 are 6 divided by 5 plus 1 is how much? 6. Same as this, we have to proceed it even in this case. So here it is true. Under this, we have to sum it 5 plus 5 and 1. 5 plus 1 is how much? 6. So I have to multiply with the denominator and the numerator with 6. So if you multiply the numerator with 6, then here it is true. That means 2 times 6. 2 times 6 is 12. So 5 plus 6, 5 plus 1 is how much? 6. So I have to see it. We have to find it 5 rational number between this and this. Alright, then we write this 6 by 6, and here we write 12 by 6. So in between this we have to find it 5 rational number. So for that, firstly, how to do it? So 6, just after 6, what would it be? 6 just after, if we start counting from 1, then 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So here we have to write it 7 divided by 6. Here how much will it be? 8 by 6. Here how much will it be? 9 by 6. Here how much will it be? 10 by 6. How much will it be? 11 by 6. Okay, so actually these are the number that we use for finding 5 rational number. So we are not going to take this one, only we have to take it the number or the rational number that we found it, or that we find it uh, in between this 6 by 6 and 12 by 6. So what are the number that we find in between these two? So these are 7 by 6, 8 by 6, 9 by 6, 10 by 6, and 11 by 6. Okay, so 7 by 6 we cannot make, or we cannot reduce the fraction, so I have to keep it as it is, because here it is 7, here it is 6, so we can reduce the fraction, so we have to keep it as it is. But here we can reduce the fraction. So how to reduce the fraction? Let us cut this one. So 2 for how much? 8. 2 into 3 is how much? 6. That means 4 by 3. Alright. And then 3 into 3 is how much? 9. Then 3 into 2 is how much? 6. 3 by 2. And then we can reduce this as simplest fraction. So 2 into 5 is how much? 10. 2 into 3 is how much? 6. So that means 5 by 3. Then the rest, what it is here, what it is left with us, that is 11 by 6. You have to write it that. So how much rational number did we got after reducing the fraction? That is 1 2 3 4 5. So we got 5 rational number. So we can find it some rational number between two given rational number, that is this number. So that's it. So that's all for today. So we'll continue with in next classes some problem in exercise 1.1. So that's all for today. Thank you.